Hey everybody out there in YouTube, Horrible Modeler here. Well, it's Friday night. We made it through another work week and the weekend's here. So hopefully everybody got to do a little bit of modeling this week. And if not, hopefully you'll get to do some this weekend, which is kind of what the main topic of the video is going to be about tonight, which is how to use your time, how to find more time to model, how not to waste time on inefficient products or things that don't work out, and just keep moving forward, keep from getting burnt out and stuff like that. Along with that, I'd like to talk about a type of primer, but more of a grade of primer, not a manufacturer, but automotive primer. So, but we'll get to that in a second. So basically I want to start, talking about the whole time thing. I guess when everybody gets into modeling, you go and you buy that kit, and you might pick up a couple bottle of paints and some brushes and stuff like that, and you bring it home and get it off the sprue, get it cleaned up, get it ready to go, and just start gluing things together. If it was only that easy, I would have built more models than just the one that I've completed so far that I still messed up in the end. So what I like to do is, for example, I have 3 projects going on right now. I have a cadet series model. Well, actually there's 3 models in the little box. Kind of goes hand in hand with my tip from last week, which is buying cheaper model kits and practicing all of your good techniques and stuff like that. I've got the other cadet series larger enterprise, which I've been working on decals, learning a lot. These are really fun, thanks to Fumble Thumbs and Fraley, I think is named how you pronounce it, and a couple other people on Sci-Fi Model Action for helping me with a clear coat problem that I had. Everything turned yellow, so I had to learn again and go back and do a couple things and waste more time. But it's all part of the process and part of the fun, so hopefully I can save you from doing that a couple times though. The other project, of course, I talked about last week was the Klingon D7 little cruiser that we're doing for the group build. Here's my stem, all primed up a couple times, almost ready to go, but we'll talk about that in a second. So, the reason why I wanted to show you all these things is everything's in a different stage. Some I'm getting ready to cut the sprue, some decaling, some primering, some ready to paint, so on and so forth. Now, when you sit down to model, very rarely do I, or I'm sure any of you guys have 2, 3, 4, 5 hours just to sit down and just go through things. And really, unless you were doing a crazy Aztecing set like Trekworks and Steve Neal just did on their NX-01 builds, then you're probably not going to be able to have enough modeling material to waste that much time anyway. So the nice thing about having all of these little projects, I think, is number one, you can use your time more efficiently, because if you only have a half hour, but you don't want to kill that half hour in front of the TV or whatever, and you want to do something constructive, then you can work on your model without getting sucked into it for hours, or getting frustrated that you can't put hours into it. So when you have multiple projects like this going on, you can do these small little 5, 10, 15-minute things that just keeps you going and moving forward, keeps you from getting burnt out on a single project, or frustrated that your paint's not turning out okay, or that your decals are wrinkling up or something like that. The other thing it does, when it comes to like priming and surface preparation and filling seams and all that stuff, is that it just gives things time just to set. For example, my stem neck here on my D7, I've went through all the good surface preparation, polished it, sanded everything down, polished it, first coat of primer, sanding, wet sanding, everything, another coat of primer, seam work, priming, seam work, I went through it a couple times because, I just want to really get this one good. Like, this is kind of like my first model that I'm building with everybody, and I've got just that huge resource of that group build to pull off of. So, it kind of makes you want to step up your game a little bit. So, I let this sit for a couple days because I just wanted to see, when you use like Bondo and stuff like that, spot putties, that stuff kind of like just keeps on going, has that melting effect on your plastic and just kind of shrinks back a little bit. Well, thank goodness I did, because, right here on the top, I don't think, yeah, you can see a little bit. I've got a little sunken seam up there. So, everything else looks pretty good, I think. For me, I'm pretty impressed. But, I got that little spot. So, what am I going to do with it? Well, I'm probably going to wet sand this all down again and get it smooth and polish it and make sure everything else is good. Then, you could come in with something like some Mr. Surfacer, which is really good for light imperfections like that. I can mask it off so I don't make a mess, paint a little bit of it on there, let it sit, see what happens, sand it down, so on and so forth. The other thing that works really good, and I got to give another shout out to the man Trekworks, because I've tried so many different primers, but until recently I've started using this Duplicolor stuff, which the manufacturers don't matter. He uses Fastar. It's not available around here. This is available at AutoZone and everywhere else like that. And really, the thing is it's a high build 2-in-1 primer. So it fills scratches, things like that, and it sands really good. I use the force heating method like he does, so I spray some of it on, heat it down with the heat gun a little bit, and in an hour or two I can come back to it and I can actually start sanding it, and it just powders right off, sands really good. So I have spent a lot of money and wasted a lot of time on like Model Master primers, Krylon type of primers, and I don't know, I just might not be good enough to use them or something. But for any beginning modeler that really wants to start getting into this kind of work, when you're doing seam work and stuff like that, the high build automotive primers, it's the way to go for sure. It smells a little bit. You're going to have to do it outside. Can't spray it out of an airbrush like you could an acrylic primer, like the Model Master there, and get away with maybe doing it indoors. But luckily I got the spray booth back here and just sucks that stuff right out. So if you don't feel like spraying again and doing things like that, then you can move in with something like some Mr. Surfacer, which can also be made by taking any kind of putty you have and thinning it down with some lacquer thinner, making like a really soft paste or something. I'll get into all that in future videos, but for now, if you want to stick to pre-made stuff, it's not a bad way to spend $7-8. I've definitely spent $7-8 on a lot worse things that I've either destroyed something with in modeling or never used before. So so anyway, getting back to the whole saving time thing, it's awesome running multiple projects because, like I said, I can work on that for 15 minutes. When I got home from work today, I had another little gap issue that's still going that, fell back in. So I just put a little bit more of 3M spot putty on there, 5-minute job. If I want to lay down some decals, I can work on it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, finish the whole thing if I want to. And then, of course, I got 3 of these little guys to work on. So, it's all about having a little bit of time for yourself. Everybody's busy. Everybody works hard. Everybody's got, if you got kids, dogs, cats, whatever, this is like your time, your space, your deal, your project, and, really when it comes down to it, you're making art, which is the way I see it. So I never could draw very well, maybe why I'm a horrible model or two, but I'm getting better. with everybody's help out there, just wanted to say thanks for all the people who have subscribed to my channel, and all of you guys I've talked to on the forums and stuff, and you've all taught me a lot of stuff, and hopefully we can keep that going, and help these videos, and the forums can help some of the people that are out there now. So one other thing that I ran across that was pretty cool is I don't know if any of you guys listen to podcasts or anything at all, but there's actually a modeling podcast called the Plastic Scale Modeling Hour, and you can go online and download it and listen to it, or if you have an iPhone or something like that, you can download it that way. So I think that's about it for right now. So gonna get a little bit of work done here tonight and this weekend, and hopefully put up another video or two. We'll see what happens as far as time and everything. It's that time thing again. So feel free to ask me any questions. Like it, tell your friends, subscribe, all that other good stuff. So until next time, guys, peace.